Do you feel excited, but also low key terrified about what comes next? And has anybody actually sat you down and told you the real parts of transitioning into adulthood? Hmm. If not, I'm here to walk you through 5 things I wish someone explained to me in the early years post grad. Welcome to the Education Evolution, and you're listening to Lifelong Learning. This is a podcast for the thinkers, the doers, and those who understand that the most important lessons aren't always learned in school. First off, I'm recording this on Mother's Day. So I hope you were able to celebrate the matriarchs in your family today in a super special way. And for those who find Mother's Day to be a day of grief for whatever reason, please know that I put up a prayer for y'all earlier today. And I truly mean that from the bottom of my heart. This month is celebratory for another reason. It's grad season, baby. Congratulations to all the graduates, especially those undergraduates, and the most special shout out to my fellow first generation college graduates. I actually have something special for us at the end, so stick around to then. Now, graduating is a huge accomplishment, but I also know this season can feel really strange because everybody keeps asking, so what's next? What's next? And sometimes the honest answer is, I don't fully know yet. And that's normal. That's normal. So today I want to talk less about like resume tips and interviews and more about the emotional and social realities of adulthood that people don't always prepare graduates for. I am your host, Lindsay, affectionately known as Miss Black. And this particular episode is for the lifelong learners who know even after you finish school, the schooling, the learning, it keeps on going. And before we jump in, just real quick, I'm gonna ask y'all to subscribe to the channel now. Go. Okay, great. I'm assuming you did it. Now, I'm not claiming to have all the answers. Okay. But as somebody who is now 10 years out of college, that is crazy. There are definitely some things I wish somebody has sat me down and told me earlier. So today, here are my 5 things I tell new graduates entering into true adulthood. And then I have a bonus tip specifically for my first generation graduates because, baby, that experience is a little different. Coming in at number 1, your first job probably won't be your forever job. Okay. Please stop putting pressure on yourself to have your whole life figured out at the age of 22 years old. A lot of y'all are going to pivot careers. Some of y'all are going to end up working jobs that didn't even exist when you started college. And that's okay. Your first job is not necessarily your destiny. For me, I got a degree in elementary education and immediately became a teacher. Thought I was going to be a principal, y'all. Maybe even a superintendent. And then there was a year when I was like, I could just be a lifetime teacher at a school that I really love. And after that pandemic hit, I had to shake shit up. And now I'm still in education technically, but on the curriculum ed tech sales side, a job that I did not even know existed until 2022. But I'm so glad that I took the pivot. The early career journey is supposed to be informative, y'all. You're learning what you like, what you hate, what type of management works for you, what environments are draining to you, what skills you naturally excel in. And honestly, real life careers are rarely linear anymore. College teaches us to think degree, job, career. Wouldn't that be nice? But real life is often job, confusion, pivot, growth, another pivot. So don't panic if your path doesn't look straight, because I am telling you, most people's paths are not. Number 2, take the PTO, take the trip, use a nice perfume, all the things. Now, let me be clear about this one, though. I'm not telling y'all to be irresponsible. Please pay your bills. I've heard a lot of roommate horror stories of people not doing that. Yikes. Please build your savings, even if it's just a small amount each time. Please make smart decisions. But your 20s are one of the last periods of your life where there is natural grace built into exploration. You can split an Airbnb 6 ways without being called broke, okay? You could sleep on somebody's couch. Not that I recommend it, but you can do it. You can take the cheap flight. Rest in peace, of spirit, goddamn. You can get too drunk at a bar on your birthday, end up in the emergency room. You can make mistakes. Life changes later, though. And in the wise words of Chucky Finster, you then have some responsibilities. I pray that that Rugrats reference landed and it didn't go over people's heads. You get to freestyle life, y'all. And I remember one of my friends was just talking about how she spoke on a panel and they were like, there's like a younger crowd. I don't know if they were like fresh out of college, interns, whatever. But they asked her, like, what were you doing in your early 20s to prepare for your career today? And she didn't say this to them, but she was like, child, I was at the bar. I was at the club Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday night. I was living it up. I wasn't thinking about my career in this way. Yes, you should be preparing, but your 20s should not only be about optimization. You should be exploring, building memories, falling in love in 2 weeks, going on a group trip to a music festival in the next state. Live, y'all. Live, I tell you. Please don't spend your entire 20s preparing for a life you never actually stop to enjoy. You will never, ever, ever be the same again. And some of the best education you'll receive in your 20s will happen outside of the workspace. Number three, friendship takes intention now. And this one is big, okay? Because nobody tells you that adult friendship feels very different. Because in college, y'all live down the hall, across the campus, a little 5 minute drive, 5 minute walk away. Now everybody's got jobs. People have partners. People have work calendars. And again, they have responsibilities. Friendship is going to take an effort that it did not take before. You're going to have to schedule things. Okay. Follow up with people, sometimes more than once. So you have to get rid of that ego because they may not be ignoring your text. They maybe just didn't see it. You got to call people. And yes, I mean, you pick up your phone and you call somebody. You have to be intentional with your check ins. And you want to know another honest truth? Your friendships are going to end. Now, I'm not saying all of your friendships are going to end, but some of your friends shouldn't be your friends right now. And you actually might have had someone in mind when I just said that message. And it don't have to be dramatic. It really don't have to be dramatic. Sometimes lives just stop aligning. As your identity evolves, your values, your priorities, and your interests, they're going to make a shift too. And hearing that can sometimes be sad, where you're just like, that's not going to be me and my friend. Just know that if it is a normal part of adulthood. And that doesn't make either person bad. It just means growth has happened. Number four, networking is just building relationships. Okay. Now, I know the word networking, it makes some people cringe. It sounds fake and corporate, but honestly, truly, networking is really just intentional relationship building. Okay. Introduce yourself to people, exchange LinkedIn's. If you meet somebody cool at an event, perhaps text them the next day and say, hey, it was nice meeting you. Build your village now. Because the way you see life right now may completely change in 5 or 10 years. And one thing adulthood teaches you very quickly is that relationships matter. Some opportunities come from resumes, sure, but a lot come from people. And no, I'm not saying treat people transactionally. I'm saying stay connected, support people's events with your attendance or a share on social media. Do not go to a wedding without a wedding gift. Nurture your relationships because when your lens on life shifts, you want to be able to look back at all the people you've met and have the opportunity to reestablish relationships with people that are more aligned with your phase of life instead of starting from scratch every single time. Now, this last one. This one is important. Okay. Might shift the energy a little bit. A lot of graduates think adulthood is mostly about achievement. You get the career, the car, the girl, the guy, the money, the milestones, but we never talk about how adulthood is also about learning how to navigate grief. And not just death. You will grieve old versions of yourself. You will grieve friendships. I'm telling you now. You're going to grieve expectations, ones you put on yourself or ones that your parents maybe have put on you. And we're grieving seasons of life. Sometimes grief is realizing you can't actually return to who you used to be. And then there's the harder truth. In the next 10 years, many of you will experience like real loss, a grandparent, a classmate, a coworker, maybe even a best friend. And this, I swear, y'all, this is not me wishing pain onto anybody. It's actually quite the opposite. Like, I am encouraging you to just love very loud, like right now. Take the pictures now, or be super present in the moment. Ask your grandparents questions now about their history, about their life experiences. Spend intentional time with the people that you care about now, because adulthood slowly teaches you that nothing is promised forever, and not in theory, but in reality. And as somebody who has experienced losing a grandmother and losing a best friend to suicide, I can tell you that grief really changes you, but it also deepens you in a way if you let it. And this is not to sound morbid, and it's not to induce fear. It's just that nobody prepares you for the fact that adulthood is partially learning how to keep living while grieving. And I want those listening to feel less blindsided than me when the inevitable happens. Okay. Now, for my first generation graduates, first off, we did it. Okay. This shit is huge. This shit is big. We did it with no blueprint, no family members to guide us through the FAFSA or how to navigate professors and courses. We did that, period. Now I need y'all to hear me when I say this though. The first do not stop after graduation. Damn, I wish somebody would have told me this. You will continue being the first in corporate spaces, the first negotiating salary, the first setting boundaries, the first to buy a car off the lot or purchase a home. You are constantly defining and redefining success. You're winging it, babe. You're winging it. So continue to be open to new information and new ways of doing things. Forgive yourself for making rookie mistakes at your counterparts who have parents who, I don't know, met and fell in love in college. Those mistakes they're not making, but you are. Forgive yourself. Know that you may have to work a little harder to find the knowledge you need to succeed, but it is all there within your reach. I do promise you that. And at the end of the day, adulthood is not about having everything figured out immediately. It's actually a journey of figuring it all out one step at a time. It may be a stressful one, it may be an uncertain one, but you're on a journey. So take a deep breath. You do not need to know your entire future today. I'm Lindsay Black, and if at any point this episode made you say, "Ooh, nobody ever told me that before," share this with a graduate in your life. Or honestly, share it with your friend who is 28, 32, whatever, and still figuring life out, because baby, most of us are. If you are watching this episode on YouTube or Spotify, drop your thoughts in the comments. Which one of these resonated with you the most? And what's something you wish somebody told you after graduation? If you haven't done so already, subscribe and help us continue growing this community and conversation. Until next time, you loving, caring, ambitious people, slow down your journey and just try to enjoy the ride. I'll talk to you next time.